Stay with me. This story I'm about to tell you is unique. There were two brothers from the family of Mr. Williams, Mike and John. Mr. Williams and his wife had suffered greatly before having children. After 10 years of marriage, they were finally blessed with twins. At the time, Mr. Williams was 45 years old, and his wife was 40. From a very young age, the twins showed different personalities. By the age of 10, Mike had grown arrogant and full of pride, while John was calm, friendly, and always happy. Mike's arrogance was never directed at his brother. Instead, he displayed it whenever his parents had visitors. His behavior became unbearable. He insulted guests, poured water on some of them, and shouted at others. His parents punished and corrected him many times, but he never changed. As he grew into his teenage years, controlling Mike became extremely difficult. John, on the other hand, grew into a quiet, intelligent, and disciplined young man. At the age of 18, both Mike and John finished high school. John had an excellent result, while Mike's performance, though not outstanding, was still decent. Mr. and Mrs. Williams began discussing how to send their sons to college. They had enough money, but Mike's behavior remained a serious concern. One evening, as they sat together in the living room, Mr. Williams came up with an idea to send Mike to stay with his grandmother in the village. However, Mrs. Williams insisted that both boys should go together. After some discussion, they agreed. Mike strongly opposed the idea. He complained that the village was dirty and smelly. On the day they were to leave, John was already seated in the car, even though he knew the trip was mainly because of Mike. Mike, however, refused to enter the car. That was when Mr. Williams did something hilarious. He picked Mike up, bundled him into the car, and locked the door. Eventually, they arrived at the village. Their grandmother welcomed them warmly. Mike was still furious and kept a stern face throughout the meeting between his parents and his grandmother. Mr. and Mrs. Williams stayed in the village for a few days before returning to the city, leaving Mike and John with their grandmother. Life in the village began. Mike refused to eat the local food his grandmother prepared, complaining that he didn't like village dishes. John, meanwhile, was already enjoying himself and having fun. Mike stubbornly refused to eat, until his grandmother, who was far stricter than his parents, picked up a stick and threatened to flog him if he didn't eat. Out of fear, Mike finally sat down and ate the food. That night, they all went to sleep. Early the next morning, Mike suggested to John that they go around the village to explore and enjoy the scenery. They walked around, saw beautiful places, amazing artworks, and things they had never seen in the city. They made new friends and spent the entire day outside. When night fell, it was time to return home, but they couldn't find their way back. By midnight, all their new friends had already left. Mike insisted he knew the correct path, but John became afraid, remembering the frightening stories their parents had told them about the village. Mike, however, was fearless. They continued walking toward what they believed was the right path, until they suddenly entered a very dark place. That was when John exploded.
"You never listened to advice. I told you we should have gone home earlier. Now see what you've caused." Mike replied calmly. "Come on, bro. Be chill. We'll find our way." John fell silent, still angry, while Mike kept talking as they worked. Mike assumed John was right behind him, But when he finally turned around, John was gone. Fear gripped Mike for the first time. He began shouting desperately, "John! John! John!"